I end up working with divorced families? Well, interestingly, my practice, my private practice, has become almost exclusively divorce-related work, certainly relationship-related work. But prior to 2001, I really didn't focus my attention on divorce specifically. I worked mostly with adolescents and families, focused a lot of my attention and my time on relationship counseling. That's what we do here at Doyle Family Counseling Center mostly, is relationship-related things. But in 1999, I went through a divorce myself, and I'm a divorced parent, and so I experienced firsthand, personally, what it's like to try to get through that process, especially those early days of divorce, which are so difficult. And then even after, which now is not that difficult at all, because we have such a good relationship and a working relationship and an atmosphere of cooperation. But those early days are extremely difficult to navigate, and that's the case for everyone. So in 2001, after I had had a couple of years to recover personally from divorce, I began focusing a lot of my attention on divorce parenting. My perspective had completely changed, of course, having experienced it personally, and that had a big influence on my decision ultimately to focus a lot of my time on divorce parenting. In 2001, in June, I began teaching the state-mandated parenting seminars for divorcing parents. And initially, I used someone else's curriculum that I purchased and focused my time and attention on their curriculum and followed that pretty closely. But it wasn't really workable for me in terms of my professional approach to things. There were some things about it that I didn't find particularly useful, so I began to develop my own curriculum. And in the process of developing my own curriculum, I started seeing more and more families related to divorce. And ultimately what I ended up doing was divorce parent coaching, which is a big part of my practice now. I get folks who are court-ordered to see me. I get folks come in on their own. They come individually, they come together. Believe it or not, divorced parents often are in this office together, which in the end needs to happen for a lot of divorced parents. I work with the kids also, mostly adolescents, but also younger kids and families, because it's a family issue. I focus a lot of my attention on family stuff. But basically the focus of divorce parent coaching is pretty simple at its core. Now, getting to these things is not that simple because of obvious reasons, but one of the first things we try to do is just to understand each other. I try to help divorced or divorcing parents understand each other better and try to get some perspective. You know, it's very helpful for us in any relationship to consider another perspective. And one of the biggest mistakes that I see consistently in divorce parenting is misinterpretation of intent. And I call that misinterpretation of intent because so often a divorced parent makes an assumption that the other parent has some ill intent in their actions, in their behavior and the things they're saying or doing, their decision making, their parenting specifically, but also in the way that they communicate. Too often the assumption is incorrect, and because we've made an incorrect assumption and misinterpreted the other person's intent, it leads us to behavior that's not so pretty sometimes. So one of the things that we get really focused on in divorce parent coaching is understanding each other. Now, the other thing that we try to do at some point in the process, depending on how long I work with a couple and with the family, one of the things that we often try to do is resolve some of the issues that were related to the marriage and the relationship itself, because very often those unresolved issues from the marriage are interfering with divorce parenting. And if that got taken care of, a lot of the problems would just go away. And then, of course, the primary goal overall, one of the things that we're trying our best to get to is to create an atmosphere of cooperation. And when you have an atmosphere of cooperation in a divorce, the children benefit.